Good evening and welcome to today's session for the subject urban. Uh, Learners have joined so far, so I'll wait for some time. So, then start the session. So, it has been some time, although no learners have joined so far, but I think I should still start today's session. So, welcome to today's session for anyone who's watching later or watching the welcome to week 4. These are the lectures that have been covered in this week. This includes 2 lectures on urban reform and managing change, one lecture on visioning for cities, another lecture on resolving conflicts for managing change, and a final lecture on digital team. So let's start with some practice questions for this week. So the first question that we have, this week is 2 types of urban reforms envisaged under JNNU RM, but then you have several options: vertical reforms and horizontal, centralized reforms or decentralized reforms, top-down and bottom-up reform, and mandatory and optional reforms. So I'll quickly explain what these different types of reforms. So vertical reform is certain change that has been initiated in a multi-level or in an organization which has several levels. So, example, our governance system, which also has different sub-governance system. So, a vertical reform is a reform which is introduced and gets implemented at all the different levels of the entire organization. So, that is what a vertical reform. Horizontal, on the other hand, is a certain kind of which gets implemented at certain level of organization. So it gets implemented throughout all the different organizations or institutions or bodies which are part of that particular level of organization, but throughout that particular level, that reform or that organizational change gets implemented. So that is what vertical and horizontal reforms are. Then centralized and decentralized reforms are again centralized reform is something which is introduced or implemented from a central organization and then gets distributed to its subsidiary bodies or gets implemented from the centralized organization to then whatever other bodies that are allied with the organization. Decentralized reform, on the other hand, is something which is first introduced or implemented in piecemeal manner or from smaller institutions, which then may or may not then get carried over to central organization. It can even be just that the organizational reform is implemented in piecemeal at in the areas or in the bodies wherever it is required for decentralized. Then we have top-down and bottom-up. So top-down reform is something that in any kind of organization in which you have an upper level of management, intermediary different levels of management, and then finally bottom grassroots levels. In that case, a top-down reform would be something which is initiated from so the uppermost or the apex levels of management. It is introduced from there, and it trickles down to the levels and finally. bottom levels of the organization. Bottom up reforms is something which is introduced first in the sort of grassroots level organization of bodies, and after it is implemented there, based on what they need, how they need the organizational system or organizational structure to change, or whatever thing from the organization, then that certain kind of changes associated with that travel further up the organizational system. So that is bottom. Then are mandatory reforms and optional reforms. So mandatory reforms, as the name suggests, is something which is essential for all the different people or all different parts of the organization to accept and implement their structure or in their working. And optional reforms is something which is suggested by a particular organization or program or something, and which can be adopted, or the organization has an option to even not adopt based on their particular scenario or their particular capabilities and such things. So these are what mandatory and optional. So the question then asks you that what are the two types of other that were envisaged under JNU. So JNNU-RM, as you might have seen in your lectures, it is the Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission. It is a program that was aimed at reform of various functions and services that are performed, and the program was comprehensive in nature, and it combined several smaller areas and smaller theme-based programs for urban development into under one particular, and it aimed at making reforms for the governance and functions that are essential, without which functioning or certain structure at the local level were not being delivered properly. So what this program did was it made some of the reforms that were introduced as a part of it. So it made some of the governance functions for the ULBs essential, without which they would not receive any funds from the program for performing of these functions or urban functions. So if the urban local body wants their urban local functions to be funded by this program, they have to make sure that they perform certain essential functions that have been listed in the. Apart from this, the program also made other provisions for some other additional reforms as well, which the urban local body could or could not take based on the local or based on their institutional capacity and based on their convenience. So these reforms were introduced by both the federal government, state government, based on which bodies were associated with the task with performing the urban functions in various cities. So I have attached the document for the JNU document for you. So if you want to take a look, just click through to this link and this document here. Sorry. So you can find this document here. If you click through to the link, take you to this document. Additionally, if for some reason you are unable to find that document, I have even shared this document in our shared folder, and I have annotated this document as well. So if you are unable to access the link for some reason, you can access this document from our shared folder as well. You can see here this document outlines the objectives of JNNURM, so this can give you a better idea of what JNNU. was focused on, so you can see the primary objective of JNNUR is to create economically productive, efficient, and responsive cities. And these are its objectives. First is the integrated development of sector services. Then is securing linkages between asset creation and maintenance for sustainability. Then accelerating the flow of investment in urban infrastructure services. These were key objectives which JNN took very key strides in fulfilling. Then is planned development of cities in very urban areas, outdoors and urban. So this is again a very important when was introduced. A lot of Indian cities did not have any kind of development program or city development document. So many cities in India made or prepared their first city development program using the funds that were disbursed through this JNNURM. Another objective was the renewal and city areas, digitalization of urban services to ensure their availability even in the urban. So these were the key objectives. Then see the institutional framework, so which are the government bodies or institutions that were associated with this mission. See the trust areas, scientific support, water supply, sewerage, sanitation, solid waste management, construction and drains and stormwater drainage systems, road networks, bus and truck terminals, city areas, reservoir, slum development, and basic services to urban poor and street lighting. So these are the key stages. Additionally, you can also see the GNN, what kind of sectors. So you can see there were a set of at the state level, and again state of and at the municipal. Additionally, there were other optional also which the JNN suggested, which may or may not state of it. And these are the expected outcomes of action or aimed to achieve. So, to further go ahead and the documents are available shared further and through this link. So I hope that is clear. I hope it is quite clear that what is the JNN basically leads to the discussion that what is JNN. Okay. Next question for you is the main intent to frame citizens charter of urban local bodies is what? Several options which include first to maintain and second to improve the quality of services, then to community citizen groups, and finally by election day. So first thing that you need to understand in context of having a citizen charter is that Indian citizens are increasingly becoming aware of their rights. So earlier, as relatively newer democracy and citizens' rights or citizens' participation in our is not an old thing for us, or rather, post-independence citizens' right, citizen and citizen participation is rather a new thing for us. But increasingly, citizens are and lately citizens have become and expect the administration not to respond to their demands but also to anticipate. So in this situation, many a times there is a mismatch of what citizens actually want, what the urban locality is delivering, and uh, what is the communication on both ends. So whether citizens are able to communicate in better ways that what they want from their urban, and whether the urban local body is able to communicate correctly that what they are doing, what is the extent of their capabilities, what are their priorities. So for this, the Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Services in Government initiated the task of coordinating, formulating, and operationalizing the citizens' charters. So, guidelines for formulating the charters as well as a list of do's and don'ts were communicated to various governments and departments or organizations, enable them to bring out focused and effective charters. So, what a citizen's charter is it's a basically a document which represents the commitments of any organization towards their standard, quality, and time frame of the service delivery that they are providing. It also then provides mechanisms for grievance redressal and also ensures transparency and accountability for all the services that the organization is providing to the citizens. So, the objective of any charter is to build bridges between the citizens and the administration, and aims to streamline the administration, which is also in tune with what the citizens of the particular urban area need. So, uh, it is basically a document of commitments which is made by a government organization. So, it can municipal organization, city development, or other kind of service provision organization, for example, water service provision, city sewerage services. So, the citizen charter that they prepare is basically a document of commitments that they make uh, to the citizen or client group that they are servicing about the services or scheme that is being provided to them or is to be provided to them by the organization. The charter clearly identifies the services which they would provide and what is its mission and vision to attain in regards to that particular services. List all the services which would be made available through that particular organization or even through other agencies which work in tandem with that organization. Some charters even give information about the details of business transacted by that particular organization in case where this kind of information is ready. So, for your understanding or for your better understanding, I have attached an example of a citizen charter which is prepared by the urban department of which is a part of the government city of Delhi. So if you click through to this link, you can see this is the citizen charter that is prepared by them. Yeah, objective, which is the ability to aim to serve, which is the GN, the city of Delhi is concerned with regularization of unorganized colonies, water supply, sewage disposal and sanitation, urban poverty, NULM, so bodies, so these are the objectives of the particular. Then the major initiatives that the party authorities are taking. So first is that so what they do service. First is the regularization of nice colonies, and second is the development of colonies. And then when if it has been completed, by which time it has been still in again for their grievance redressal, they mentioned that although their cell does not have an interface with public, but the grievance redressal is the grievances are received EGMS or otherwise then so It's about all the acts or operations which are associated with their functioning or services that they again transfer that then they are providing for the funds that are allocated similar the different departments related to different objectives of different service provision. They have to mention websites for grievance redressal for each kind of functions or each kind of objectives. So, please feel free to access this document through this link here. It's a good example for consider if you see what a citizen's charter is. On to the next question, which is identify the correct statement related to a plan document. Several options, which are objectives are a part of policy document, while vision is its subset. Second is vision and objectives are both sides of the same coin. Then objectives are ultimate goal, while vision is the aspiration of the city. Then objectives are measurable targets, while vision is the intent of the. So basically, all these statements are related to what objectives of a plan document is and what is the vision associated with a particular. So let's see. A city's vision is basically a collective wish to grow and make a better future for the city. It is an aspiration for greater and it is a shared common dream among the urban body and citizens of the city. Making and contributing for the better present and future generations, that is what a city's vision is to achieve. So ultimately, city's vision is a roadmap for policy and for city. So this is what a city's vision is. The planning and or governance objectives are linked to a city's vision, but they are different from vision for the city. So while vision provides a broad perspective about what the city wants to achieve, objectives can be understood in terms of this acronym, which is SMART. So objectives are specific, so they focus on achieving one specific task. It is not a general perspective. So for example, city's perspective can be to become a friendly city, or maybe to become an eco-friendly city, or a clean city, or sometimes a green city. So there can be several things which can provide vision to what the city wants to achieve. But objectives need to be specific. So it can't just say that we want to tell that what are the measures, what are the specific measures that you are to take to make your city. So whether you go to waste disposal mechanisms in the city, provide vehicles or or rickshaws or some kind of way for city to use renewable technologies or things like that. So just saying that you want city, city is not enough. Enumerate specific objectives or specific things that your city needs to do or the city needs to achieve in order for it to eco-friendly city. So that is what is by specific. Second thing is measurable. So objective is measurable. You can measure in terms of volume or in terms of any kind of system that what needs to be achieved and needs to be achieved. So if you want to better transport city, standard types of national routes, or whether parking, so parking places for them right to modern city, bicycle friendly, so what kilometers of uh, biking routes you need to go areas. So then objectives need to be measured. Third is objectives need to be attainable. So objectives shouldn't be something just a vision, whether it's attainable. Fourth, that they should be reasonable. So that for objectives to be reasonable, they should be uh, arrived upon with the consultation of both the city's citizens and the urban government body and the people's representatives and uh, all the different stakeholders and whatever the city is trying to achieve as a part of this. It should be well reasoned within, first of all, reasoning that it is feasible and attainable, and second, that it is what the citizens or authority or the organization need for the city. And finally, it should be time bound. So that means that the objectives need to also have a temporal of view, a temporal view of development objective. That by which time city needs to finish working that way. So following this up, the objectives should be specific, measurable, attainable, reasonable, and time bound. So I hope it is quite clear. So summarizing the differences between the vision and objectives. So a vision is a broad statement or statement of collective wish of the citizens, and objectives are something which is specific, measurable, attainable, reasonable, and time bound, or just smart. Vision is a crisp, uh, say, depiction or crisply you can say what the city wants to achieve. However, objectives are multiple and they can divide them based on different thematic areas of city wants to achieve. Vision leads to making scenarios, for example, city to eco-friendly, tourist-friendly, several things like that. And objectives are something which leads formation of programs and projects that the city needs to undertake in order to fulfill that kind of vision. A vision is part of a policy and plan, but objectives are not part of policy document, but of plan. A vision is arrived upon after public consultation, which is essential vision for students to achieve objective. But for objective, only public consultation is not further technical analysis also in order to understand whether objectives are attainable. So it's quite clear what the function objectives are. So question. So the next question for today is the correct sequence of behavioral change during an organizational reform is what? Then you have several options which are related to denial, resistance, exploration, commitment, etc. So, sorry. Whenever any kind of organizational reform is introduced in any nation, people can react in multiple ways, and many a times there is some resistance or some negative reactions to the introduction of certain kinds of reform. There can be several reasons for this kind of resistance or negative reaction to that particular, which can include things like fear of the unknown. So, what is going to happen when? So, they are afraid because of that. Second is lack of information. They might know what is going to happen, how their role is going to be affected by it, or how their compensation may be affected by it. Several things like that. There may be some misinformation regarding a particular form. So again, because of that, there may be some misconceptions. Then there may be threat to the status of or associated with a particular function that can cause a negative reaction. Then people might see or people might perceive that there are no benefits for them if the particular organization is introduced. They might fear that it is going to fail and it's not going to work. What's what they want to achieve. Then people might have low trust in the organization, both the people who are the organization and who are seeking services from the organization. They might have trust in the organization again. That might respond to. And again, there are things like peer group norms and customs, which dictate how things are to function and which dictate that for several years or for a longer period of time, this is how the things have been done and how organizational is going to change those things, and people might that there might be some resistance to that particular change. So again, because of this, they can have several kinds of reaction, which sometimes can be negative also. So the Scott and Jeff's transition grid, which you have studied, it shows four different stages uh, through which people go when facing certain kinds of change, and these can range from reactions which people can have when they see that particular change of grid, and positive reaction when they see that change. So this is the Scott and Jeff's transition grid, which I was talking about. It is based on another similar study, which is of the grief curve, which was developed by the psychiatrist Elizabeth. So basically, it is related to psychological processes that occur during any kind of change, and this transition grid indicates the effect of that particular change on individuals in terms of increasing disempowerment to then further the re-empowerment of individuals in order to change. So the left quadrant of the curve indicates uh, an increase in disempowerment, and the right quadrant is right quadrant of the curve which increase in re-empowerment who are facing the change. So first stage of this particular transition grid is denial. This is the stage in which the feeling of change does not easily sink in, and when the particular people who are associated with change ignore the change completely, thinking that nothing has happened, or seeming, uh, feeling that although the change has been introduced or might, but it is not mistake, just continue as they originally. The next stage is when people do accept that the change is coming, but because of their fears or insecurities or some problems that might have, uh, they resist this change. So during this stage, understand that the change has taken place and it cannot be ignored, but the acceptability of the change is resisted by the. So the resistance is usually exhibited through emotional upsurges in the form of anger or frustration or anxiety, fear of the unknown. Sometimes people even voice it out by opposing the change. So it is during this stage when the organization witnesses a loss in as well as the overall stability of the system or due to resistance. Then comes the stage of exploration. So once the people accept a particular change, they accept that change has come and it's here to stay, then they can start further towards exploring whether they fit in that particular situation, how fit fits, and what the future holds for their place in that particular situation or for the particular situation and its role with certain services or certain. So this is the stage of exploration during which the organization builds up its coping or adaptive mechanisms, tackle the resistance, and it focuses on futuristic priorities by empowering and encouraging them for trying out new processes or testing graduate. Stage is very sensitive and tentative as for any wrong step during this time. Second, revert to further more resistance. Stage of change. Finally, once the people start liking the change that have been used, they start to develop enjoyment out of it. And during this stage, it is essential the organization develop certain mechanisms for so that people commit to this particular change or this reform. So during this stage, the individuals are really empowered as they accept the new methods and processes, and it is very important that commitment towards the change can be established by the organization backing it up with appropriate permissions and clearly defining the roles and accountabilities of the employees that are associated. So this is the Scott and Judge transition grid, and these are the different stages associated. We usually do this exercise, so it is a participatory exercise which we do to understand these different stages and what a city manager or a person in a management role can do different stages of introduction of reform. Although no one is here, are here today, so I'll just tell you for each of this stage what the manager or charge can do. Make the reform or transition. So in this case, we are taking an example where the organization is transitioning from earlier kind of any plan preparation methods to a GIS-based development. So during the first stage of denial, the first thing that is to do is to communicate that what is the change that is occurring and how it's going to affect the individual team. So this is the change that is assimilate the reform function. Another thing which you can do is tell that how it is going to affect individual teachers or part of. Again, you can make people aware about the negative implications if this change or this reform is not introduced. So, for example, if GIS based development is not introduced, there might be some negative implications of that on functioning of your particular organization. So these can slide if GIS based development is not introduced, the organization might not be able to uh, achieve its particular goals or objectives. Again, because the organization is not able to achieve its goals or objectives, the funds that organization is receiving for its functioning, they might get discontinued. And again, this can cause loss of jobs. So these are the negative implications that can happen if people. Again, you can uh, make space for open discussions about fears and problems that people facing or might face. Again, you can communicate what is expected from each of the team members or people in the organization. So these are the things which you as a manager can do during introduction of certain types of during the denial. Then comes the resistance phase or the resistance situation. So if there are any resistance in your organization, what you can do is first that you can acknowledge the fears and feelings of the people. Then can also show examples, some examples or scenarios where this particular reform has been implemented successfully and how what a successful adaptation or adoption of that particular reform looks like. Again, you can what you can do is you can encourage the team member to talk other team members who might be positive about this change. So it is many a times the case that not all the people in the organization or the team members are negative, reacting negative, but only some are and others have a positive outlook. So in that case, you can encourage the people who are resisting, talk to other people, have a positive outlook. They can maybe better understand their situation or better empathize with them, clear their fears or some misgivings about the song that is going to be. Again, what you can do is you can ask them what steps the organization can take in order to help the people to manage the change better. So this can be training of capacity buildings as we are functioning to GIS, so which requires certain kind of training and capacity building for understand and assimilate for systems. Then ask about infrastructure requirements as well. Then for some kind of additional support that need in order to better adjust to the change. Again, ask about time requirements. What are the time that is required for professional training, city, etc. Then you can even talk about redefinition of people's roles with this new reform that is introduced. Then the exploration stage. So in this stage, what you can do is ask about individual's vision of how you want to change. Again, you can talk about resource support or mentoring, provision those resources. And you can encourage people to explore by themselves what opportunities they might have with the profession. Then, so so these are the things you can do as a manager during the exploration stage. Finally, at the commitment stage, what you can do is first you can set goals for training or capacity for your goals that the achieve. Another thing which you can do is help identify a reward system for promotion, salary incentives, or additional skill upgrades for people who trying to commit change of the reform. Another reward can even be that organization can overcome certain lackiness that they might be experiencing in their previous work. What you can do is ask the people about the long-term opportunities that they see for themselves working within the organization. So this is one example of how, as a manager, can contribute to the organization while dealing with certain kinds of risk and helping the organization assimilate the reform and people in the organization getting better adjusted to that. So I hope this example is helpful in better understanding what these different stages are, how uh, how a manager can help people better manage certain kind of reform, certain full. The final question for today is a match the following kind of question, which has two groups. First group details out certain reforms, and second group details out certain work domains, and it is a match the following kind of situation. So I'll just quickly tell you what the different reforms are, and based on that, identify which particular option in the second group certain forms are associated. So coming the first thing, which is a city development plan. So basically, a city development plan is a statutory plan which is prepared under the City Development Act, and it lies within the framework of an approved perspective plan or an policy document. So the objective of the development plan is to provide further necessary details and intended actions in the form of strategies or physical proposals or various policies given perspective plan or depending upon the economic and social needs of the people, the aspirations of the people, and the resources based on the resources that are available with and depending priorities of the citizens and the finally, proposal of a development plan indicates the intention of the local authority regarding physical, social, and economic and facilitates the services that are proposed to be provided in the near future. Uh, the approved development plan allows the local authority to implement the development of land specified under the plan to be developed, and it is done with the help of local area plans and projects. So that is what a city does. Then what is surcharges? So as part of mandatory reforms that was proposed by JN, the levy of reasonable user charges was introduced for usage of different infrastructure and services provided by a this was mandatory. These services included things like water supply, solid waste management, licensing services, sweeping of public areas, etc. The objective of this introduction of charge was for the management of the particular city services and they can sustain income through the aid of financial help that is levied of user charges for using those sector or particular service. What is rationalization of stamp duty? So stamp duty is basically a tax that is levied on single property purchases or documents. Things like checks, receipts, military commissions, marriage licenses, and transactions. So what JNNE did or what it was rationalization of stamp duty. So instead of higher, it rationalized the stamp duty to bring it down to 5%, whatever the transaction is happening. Then is repeat the UNCA or the Single Act. So this act was in 1976 and the land prices in our markets and reduced the soaring land prices. So what the act did was imposed a ceiling on and in the other and prevented the acquisition of land access to in access to what is by the development. So apart from a certain limit, people can't accumulate or acquire certain lands for. So the ceiling limit is from state to state. So it varies from 500 square kilometers states and according to the regulations that are set by the state. So this is what we are. So what JNNURM is it build the ultra or ask the various state governments to discontinue this act in their states. So this is what the report of. So I hope it is quite much of start connected to me. So this is below. So these are all questions that were for this week for attending. If you have any further questions, ask me.
Good evening, ma'am. Actually, ma'am, all these lessons, what the link we are getting for video uh, links. So these are the things what you are doing here.
What? I don't understand your question.
Actually, we have that video link in our portal in
Yes.
MT. So in that we can get these things, these
Yes,
slides.
yes, sure. So, all of the live sessions that I do, I record all of these live sessions are recorded and then they are uploaded as video links. So even if you are unable to attend the live session, you can watch them later as you also,
Okay,
you can
sure.
even get the slides also. So we have a common shared folder. There is a link for the shared folder as well. So I
Mm.
upload all of these PPTs in the shared folder. So you can even get these PPTs from the shared folder.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Do you have any other questions?
Regarding exams, ma'am, what will be the pattern of exam, right? It will be a uh, multiple choice questions and it will be a theoretical.
This question you should ask on the forum because on the forum the course instructor themselves or the associated TA answers the question. So they
Mm.
themselves can tell you better that what will be exam. Do you know how
Okay.
to access the forum?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'll show you quickly. So this is what you might be seeing, Anna. This is
Yes.
the page where you see all of the announcements regarding courses or live session. And here you can see Q&A section. So if you click through the Q&A section, uh, it will take you to the discussion forum. So this is the discussion forum. See, other people have also asked that whether they can get course study material as PDF and other things. So in this forum only, you can start a new conversation from here and you can ask your questions.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else you would like to ask?
No one.
So we have finished the practice questions or quiz, assignments question for this session. I'll stay for a while to see if any other questions to be answered. Otherwise, I'll close the session in some time.
Okay. Ma'am, regarding exam, all the queries will be solved by the forum, right?
Yes.
Actually, just got a mail regarding that exam format. Ma'am, it's a 12-week course now.
Yes.
But ma'am, in the exam format, they shown only the 8 weeks. It's showing like what what I got the mail for the type of exam, whether it will be computer based or written. So it is only for the four
Okay.
week and
So
8 week
as the
courses.
4 week and 8 week
So
courses will they'll be over. I think you have left the meeting somehow, but I'll still answer your question so that you can see this in the recorded. So the 4 week and 8 week courses they finish early and finish late as we are a 12 week course. So instructions for those courses come as their exams are earlier as well. So you might have not gotten the information about the 12 week course now. Okay, you have joined again. So I was just answering your question that 4 weeks and 8 week courses they finish early, so their exam also is early. That is why they have received the mail about their exam and the format of the exam. Our course lasts a little longer, so that is why we get certain information later. So it has not come to you now, but if they are sending out emails regarding the format of the exams, you will also receive information about this course also in due time.
okay, sure, thank you.
Yes, sure.
May I
If
leave,
you
ma'am?
have any further questions, you can.
No.
I'll close the session for today as there are and no, no questions. Thank you all for attending. See Tuesday 6 p.m.